You're watching 48 Fastcast.
All right, y'all, time right now, 7:01. Thanks for joining us for the 48 Fastcast. We're starting out not bad this morning, pretty mild. The rest of the week looks warm. A 48 first alert weather day for tomorrow, though.
Yeah, as you get out the door today, you'll see the clouds, but that real weather, of course, happening tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be expecting some rain the same time tomorrow morning. Could have some impacts as you head out to work and school on Thursday. Now, this is not a severe weather event for us. This is a first alert weather day to let you know we're expecting periods of moderate to maybe heavy rain, potentially leading to some slowdowns during your Thursday morning drive. Now, some storms are still anticipated, producing some lightning, maybe some wind gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour, but we're forecasting about half an inch to an inch of rain. And if you look at your rain and storm timeline for Thursday, a lot of this activity is happening. The most widespread and intense rain, at least during that morning drive through late morning, continuing into the early afternoon. But the later you go in the day tomorrow, the drier our skies get, and we're left with a great stretch of days coming for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Temperatures are already warming up. We're in the 40s to about 50 degrees. That is 20 to 31 degrees warmer than the same time yesterday. Today is an overcast day, not much sun, if any, high of 63. Showers move in late. Rain and some brief gusty winds Thursday, Friday, and beyond. Looks amazing.
This is your 48 First Alert Road Report, sponsored by Bankston Motorhomes.
Traffic update for you the 7 o'clock hour. We know that the traffic volume starts to increase. 565 has a few slowdowns getting to the bridge in Decatur, and an accident also in Moulton. This is on 24 eastbound. This will affect your drive from Moulton to Decatur. You can add about 2 or 3 more minutes with that traffic accident there on 24. Here are your drive times to Huntsville, including Athens, about 38 minutes.
Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years, and in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%.
Now, President Donald Trump delivering the first State of the Union address of his second term last night. Trump's address was the longest since at least 1964. Now, he used most of that time to share what he views as his economic accomplishments. He focused a lot on jobs and manufacturing. This all comes as the president's approval ratings are sliding. Now, the president trying to convince voters that the economy is improving ahead of the November midterm elections.
In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe.
Now, Trump also sharing his disappointment with the Supreme Court following last week's tariff decision. He called that decision, quote, unfortunate. Trump did reiterate his plans to reinstate tariffs using other methods.
Despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes.
Now, the president also spent part of his speech warning that Iran should never have a nuclear weapon. Trump has criticized that country for its brutal crackdown on protesters. Thousands of those protesters have been murdered by the Iranian government.
State Senator Katie Britt releasing a statement after Trump's speech. She says, quote, POTUS did what so many thought could never be done. Everyone should celebrate these historic accomplishments. Peace through strength always.
Senator Tommy Tuberville also releasing a statement saying, quote, America is the greatest country in history, 250 years of winning.
Many Democratic lawmakers speaking out against the president following that address. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger says the commander-in-chief is making life harder for the average American.
Because since this president took office last year, his reckless trade policies have forced American families to pay more than $1,700 each in tariff costs. Small businesses have suffered, farmers have suffered, some losing entire markets. Everyday Americans are paying the price.
Governor Spanberger also accusing the president of being rude and divisive during his speech.
The president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted. And he offered no real solutions to our nation's pressing challenges, so many of which he is actively making worse. He tries to divide us. He tries to enrage us, to pit us against one another.
During Trump's State of the Union, 2 Democratic congresswomen reprimanded the president over his immigration and border security policies. Take a listen.
I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens, in many cases drug lords, murderers all over.
Now, Michigan Representative Rashida Tlaib and Minnesota Rep. Ilhan Omar shouted at Trump. Omar yelling, quote, "You have killed Americans." Her state was the site of 2 deadly shootings by ICE agents earlier this year. Both of those killed were American citizens. Democrats are demanding reforms within the Department of Homeland Security.
Well, Texas Democrat Al Green was removed from Trump's State of the Union address. He was waving a sign that read, quote, "Black people aren't apes." Now, this comes after the president recently shared a video on social media depicting former President and First Lady Barack and Michelle Obama as monkeys. Trump later said one of his staffers posted that video, not him. It was later taken down. Also last night, President Trump took some time to award Purple Hearts to Andrew Wolf and the family of former Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. They both were shot while on duty in Washington last November. Beckstrom later died from her injuries. Wolf is continuing to recover from a severe head injury and is scheduled to undergo another surgery in the coming weeks.
Well, all new this morning, a Colbert County animal abuser will need to pay almost $20,000 to a local animal shelter. The case dates back to 2023 when nearly 50 dogs were taken from Deborah Catledge's property. Nearly 20 horses were also seized. Many of the animals were weak, starved, and living in filth. Catledge has been ordered to pay Animal Services just over $18,000. That's according to our media partners at the Times Daily. This will help cover the cost the shelter had to pay to care for the animals. Catledge is currently serving a 9-year prison sentence for animal cruelty. This morning, we're asking Huntsville police for more information after officials ordered UAH students to shelter in place yesterday. That alert was sent out last night. UAH officials say a, quote, police emergency started on University Drive just north of campus. We're told things then spilled over onto the campus. Further details were not released.
All right, now a Colbert County resident is without a home after a house fire. This happened yesterday at a home on LaGrange Road. That's not far from Leeton. Now, no one was at home at the time. The White Oak Volunteer Fire Chief told our news partners at the Times Daily that the fire was started by an electrical issue.
Well, if you're moving to Huntsville, one zip code could be causing you some confusion in your home search.
Yeah, local realtors tell us that some first-time buyers and out-of-state buyers are passing on Owens Crossroads properties because of a crossover with the zip code and the city of Huntsville. 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy joins us live in front of White Hart Realtors in Huntsville. And Sarah Grace, some buyers assume that buying a home in Owens Crossroads means they won't be able to live in Huntsville.
And while that's true for many parts of Owens Crossroads, a large part of the area is also inside Huntsville city limits. Local realtor Danielle Justice tells me that she's seen many buyers miss out on potential properties because they assume that it's not in Huntsville city limits because of the address. She says that when buyers see Owens Crossroads, they assume they won't get the schools they want, even though those homes are in Huntsville. However, the confusion works both ways. Some buyers looking for Owens Crossroads homes find that they're actually zoned for Huntsville City Schools. Justice says that without an agent, buyers can miss out on the right home for them. She points out that while realtors verify information, Zillow often has inaccurate data, which is another reason to verify directly. Justice tells me that growth in Huntsville is what started this confusion.
Zip codes are created by the USPS for mail delivery. They do not determine the municipal boundaries, school districts, or tax jurisdictions. As Huntsville has expanded south of 431, many properties still carry an Owens Crossroads mailing address, even though they are legally in the Huntsville city limits. Owens Crossroads isn't confused, it's growing. Huntsville's expansion has simply outpaced the way our zip codes were originally designed.
Justice recommends looking at the Madison County maps and verifying with schools directly when searching for homes. Live in Huntsville, Sarah Grace Kennedy, 48 on your side.
She came in screaming, fire, fire. When I went back there, that's where the flames were coming from. It was shooting out of the wall. It was huge. It was too big for water to even put out.
Well, around 24 people in southwest Huntsville are now trying to find new homes. This comes after a fire destroyed all 8 units at the Silverstone apartments in one of the buildings. Charles Gray was napping at the time, and his mother woke him up saying that the building was on fire. He then ran through that building to try to make sure everyone got out safely. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but Gray says the fire is still devastating.
She won't be able to get any of our baby photos back, any of her mom's jewelry that she was given to her, all her clothes. She's gonna have to rebuild, for sure.
Now, the Red Cross is helping those impacted by buying food and finding other places to live. Gray tells us he believes the fire was caused by some sort of electrical problem.
A Falkville child sex abuse suspect will remain in jail for the time being. A judge has ordered that Randall Bolix be held without bond. That's according to our media partners at the Decatur Daily. Bolix was arrested last week. He's charged with sexual abuse and sodomy. The judge in the case ruling that Bolix must remain behind bars to protect the alleged victim and the victim's family. Other details about the case have not been released. Well, you could soon have more time to file for compensation if you're a victim of a crime in Alabama. That's if a new bill passes. If approved, the measure would allow victims and their families to file a claim for up to 2 years after the crime was committed. Currently, the deadline is 1 year. Survivors rallied outside the state house yesterday, urging lawmakers to pass the bill quickly. One woman says the issue is personal to her.
I was told by an employee there that I did not qualify for victims' compensation, so I did not continue to fill out the form. Well, I found out maybe 6 months after that I actually did qualify. However, there's a 1 year limitation, and at that point the 1 year had passed.
The bill has passed a Senate subcommittee, but it still needs to pass the full Senate. If it does pass the Senate, it will then go to the House.
Well, Alabama lawmakers have passed a bill to rename the Gulf of Mexico. If approved, state and local governments will be required to only call it the Gulf of America. Now, it's been more than a year since President Donald Trump issued an executive order on this topic. House lawmakers voted on party lines to approve this measure. Now, it's called the Gulf of America Act. Now, if this measure goes into effect, local governments would be required to use Gulf of America in new maps, documents, and educational materials.
The Gulf means so much to our state, and it means so much to our economy. It means so much to our food supply. It means so much to our recreation, and I just think that it is fitting that it be named America.
When you get ready to change it, we're not actually fighting the fact that you want to change the name to Gulf of America. We're saying why, and especially if over the years it's just continuing to change. And as soon as somebody else come in, we don't know what they're gonna say.
Under this proposed law, school districts would also be called on to use the term Gulf of America during lessons. This measure now heads to the Senate. If signed into law, it would go into effect on October 1st.
Your utility bills could go up if you live in Athens. The price hike would impact your sewer and water bill. Now, leaders at the city's water services department say they're losing money. That's because of a sharp rise in water and sewage services demand. They say more pressure is also being placed on existing infrastructure since so many people are moving to the area. It's unclear how much rates will rise or when this could take effect. Well, time right now is 7:14. A place full of build-it-yourself furniture, home goods, and some pretty famous meatballs is opening in just a few hours.
Yeah, the Swedish furniture company called IKEA is opening its first ever Alabama location right here in Huntsville. 48's Matthew King has been following this all morning long, and he joins us from that location right now on University Drive. And Matthew, this location is a little bit smaller than some of the previous IKEA locations people may have gone to.
In the shopping center off of University Drive, Research Park Boulevard, but don't take the word small too literally here, because if you look behind me, my photographer is going to show you, look at this block party of people here to see the opening here at IKEA today. They got balloons, they got a podium, they got microphones. I heard some music earlier, and more importantly, this line is wrapped all the way around the new location for IKEA and into some of those restaurants back over there. People have been out here all morning for this. Inside the building, though, you'll be able to find thousands of products useful in the home. This includes some couches, chairs, bed frames, kitchenware, and even some stuffed animals. The store even has a diagram in case you get lost inside. Store manager Brad Ellis told us Huntsville was chosen for this spot due to its growth. This location was chosen due to its proximity to other stores in the area. Ellis says this smaller store models the company's goal of sustainability.
There's a building still here, or already here, right? And it allows us to get in a little bit faster, right? It's more sustainable because we're not having to build a big brand new building. And then it allows us to reuse spaces that were pre-existing. And we think that's good overall for our business.
And it's just between 7 and 7:30. We'll call it 7:15 right now. Doors don't open until 10 with a grand ceremony at 9:45. But again, so many people here right now. They're having to park way away from the actual location and walk over just to be able to see the experience for themselves. Reporting live in Huntsville, Matthew King, 48 on your side.
Tomorrow is a 48 First Alert Weather Day, sponsored by Mr. Reuter Plumbing for all your emergency plumbing services.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. He's pumped to be out there, as are everyone in line. What we've got today, a much warmer start. So if you are heading out to IKEA to get in early, you don't have to bundle up. I would still suggest a jacket or sweatshirt, but the clouds will stay with us today, even by the afternoon. We are forecasting maybe some hit and miss lighter showers. Things start to ramp up as far as rainfall coverage and also intensity as we go into the morning hours of Thursday. Thursday again, a 48 First Alert Weather Day. Could have some heavier pockets of rain, wet roads, ponding and puddles for your morning drive. But the later you go in the day Thursday, the drier our skies will be. We are not forecasting severe weather, just a pretty heavy rain event for us, 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain. A few storms could produce lightning and some gusty winds.
Eric, thank you. Still to come, some Shoals firefighters are learning new skills to help keep you even safer. We explain ahead. Well, some firefighters in the Shoals are learning some important skills to help keep you safe. Sheffield, Tuscumbia, and Muscle Shoals firefighters just learned a new way to do CPR. Now, the crews got to learn about pit crew CPR. That's an approach where every first responder has a specialized individual role during a cardiac emergency. The idea was first implemented in North Carolina. Keller's EMA director says that firefighters who use the method often save more lives. He told our partners at the Times Daily that he wants to train other departments throughout the Shoals on this idea. Well, covering your community in Athens now, where officials at one organization are making sure all kids have a place to play where they feel included. Local students with special needs got the chance to learn more about basketball with the help of the Make a Way Foundation. Now, they gathered at the Limestone County Rec Center for the second week of adaptive play. Peer helpers assisted the players teaching kids how to play basketball. They then closed the day out with a game. Stacy Givens, the co-founder and president of the foundation, says her own son inspired her to start the program.
These kids want to participate in things, but they so often can't participate with their neurotypical peers. And it's equally important for the parents because they can sit on the bleachers, they can watch these kids with other people who get it, who have similar life experiences. It's nice just to turn and share your story with somebody who understands. So this is important for the whole family.
Now, Givens also says it's important to have opportunities for those with special needs as they can often be overlooked.
Tomorrow is a 48 First Alert Weather Day, sponsored by Mr. Reuter Plumbing for all your emergency plumbing services.
I've got cloudy skies already on this Wednesday, and the clouds not going anywhere anytime soon. No sunshine today, maybe just an occasional peak. We are forecasting some occasional showers developing later on this afternoon and evening. First alert weather day for Thursday. This is for rain and storms. We are not forecasting severe storms, probably picking up ½ inch to an inch of rain, some lightning, and maybe some brief gusty winds. But what we see behind that is an awesome Friday and an even better weekend. Now there is going to be some pollen. Might have noticed some smoke in the air yesterday from some wildfires down near the Bankhead National Forest. Yeah, we're looking at juniper, maple, and elm to really start to jump up here. It is that time of year. We'll have one last look at your forecast coming up. You're watching your 48 Fastcast wherever you stream.
Well, officials at Huntsville Animal Services say the recent Kisses and Kibbles pet food giveaway was a massive success. The event was held this past weekend. Organizers gave out more than 4,000 pounds of dog food and 2,000 pounds of cat food. The drive was such a hit that Huntsville police had to help with traffic flow. You saw that line there. Shelter volunteers also gave out a lot of spay and neuter vouchers.
Well, another local animal shelter also receiving some good news. Second Chance Shelter in Boaz just received nearly $20,000 thanks to the Running for Rescues event. That run happened back in November, and money from it will go towards helping the shelter.
Well, happening this Sunday, Mountain Gap Elementary School is celebrating its 60th anniversary. There will be bounce houses, face paintings, and food trucks for you and the kids to enjoy. The event starts at 3 p.m. and goes until 6.
Tomorrow is a 48 First Alert Weather Day, sponsored by Mr. Rooter Plumbing for all your emergency plumbing services.
Tomorrow is a First Alert Weather Day for a threat of some heavier rainfall for the morning, a few embedded storms with lightning and gusty winds. Not the case today. We're already off to a warmer start. We will be cloudy. Hit a high of 63 degrees. Some showers popping up as we go through late afternoon into the evening. Most of you staying dry until about midnight. Wind is breezy from the southwest. That's going to bring up some of that Gulf moisture. You might notice it feeling a bit more spring-like and humid, but still a good day to take advantage of and take the kids out to the park or the playground, as our afternoon temps will be in the low to mid 60s. For tonight, 55 is that low. We are cloudy. The winds will stick around. We're forecasting rain and storms coming in, potentially impacting your Thursday morning drive to work and school. Look at that weekend, though. Start making outside plans now, and even into early next week. Looks like we stay pretty warm as we head into March on Sunday morning. So things kind of turning the corner. Just some rain and storms get through tomorrow.
All right, a little cloudy start to today.
Yeah, can't complain. Warmer at least.
Yeah, that's positive.
All right, y'all. Have a good one. We'll be on air with more news, weather, and traffic throughout the morning.